Joining us now, Tyler Foote, Executive Director, Americans for Prosperity of Virginia. Tyler, good to have you, man.
Hey, good morning, John. Thanks for having me.
Tyler, I want to start with the Republican convention. Are you going to be there this weekend?
Yes, sir. Yeah, we will. We'll have a full staff there. We'll have a table. We'll have a cocktail reception. And I'll actually be rolling out a new initiative that we're working on. Over the next couple of months, we're rolling out a plan called a Path to Prosperity in Virginia. And the plan basically lays out 5 policy initiatives that we hope that the next governor's administration will take up and hopefully set Virginia on the right path to being a national leader again. A couple of those policies are tax reform, occupational licensing reform, school choice, responsible spending of taxpayer dollars, and then, of course, protecting ratepayers in Virginia and making sure that we have a solid energy supply in Virginia. So a couple new initiatives that we're rolling out at the convention. I think it's going to be a perfect opportunity to get in front of party leaders and our grassroots activists across the state and talk to them about some of the stuff we're working on.
Hey, Tyler, that is really cool. So you're being proactive. You're coming up with 5 key things you want to be focusing on for the remainder of 2016, going into the 2017 General Assembly session, which could be, I think it'll be, Terry McAuliffe's swan song, because he'll be a lame duck governor. Now, many people think he's not even going to be there. Hillary wins. He's Commerce Secretary. I don't think Hillary's going to win. So I think he's going to be stuck with us here in Virginia in 2017, much to his chagrin, no doubt. But I love the idea of getting way out ahead of it and picking 5 things that you guys want to focus on. They all make sense. That's going to be a lot of work. But whose idea was it? Yours?
Yeah, it's it was mine, and with the help of our team. I mean, honestly, I think the whole reason why we wanted to do it is it's an opportunity for us to go on offense and present a vision for Virginia that we think will, like I said, make Virginia a national leader again. You know, we were once considered the best state to do business. We've fallen on that scale significantly in the last few years. For the first time ever, more Virginians are moving out than are coming in, and so it's an opportunity for us to kind of recalibrate and go on offense. The last few years with a divided government here in Virginia, a Republican legislature and a Democrat governor, I feel like we've been on defense a lot. We've been fighting against bad bills and really haven't had the opportunity to present a solid vision for the state. Well, now we're going to take this opportunity, like you said, to get way out ahead of these issues, message on them now, educate citizens on them now, so that we can hopefully have a educated citizenry when the new governor takes office and hopefully get some of these reforms implemented on day one.
Well, you've got nearly 100,000 members now in Virginia alone, so you've got a lot of resources and activists and door knockers and people that care about your issues at your disposal. No one has that, so you've got an army out there. But I just got to tell you, Tyler, I know we're friends and all that, but I always tell you like it is. I really love what you're doing because you're right. I mean, AFP, since I've been involved, has played defense because like Medicaid expansion or other bad bills, and you guys have done a pretty good job at that, especially with Medicaid expansion. I've given AFP credit as the organization that really stopped it, I believe, in Virginia. But now I think it's time. You go on offense. You're way out in front of it. You got things that I think average people think are the right thing to do, starting with tax reform in the state. So I think this makes a lot of sense, and I think it's going to be a very exciting time for AFP in Virginia. And I'll tell you the other thing, Tyler, it's a lot more fun to play offense than defense, isn't it?
Agreed.
Yeah, it's a lot more fun.
They say defense wins championships, but I always like to be on the offensive side of the ball, that's for sure.
Well, you got to play good defense, but I'm a basketball coach, as you know, and, we all love defense, and we stress it. But my thing is, you know what? At the end of the day, I got to outscore the other team. So you got to put the ball in the basket. And a very aggressive offense causes defensive collapses all over the place. So everybody's got their own philosophy. You got to play defense, but I like to run and gun. So I like your philosophy. Now, the other thing I'm excited about, we're going to Harrisonburg. The Fräulein's going to be with us, so we're excited about that. And I've told her that the past 3 Republican conventions, the Americans for Prosperity Hospitality Suite has won the award. In fact, the last 2 times you beat the Obenshains, which is pretty impressive. That's tough to do because the Obenshains are the king of hospitality suites. So I'm going to tell her that, so I'm sure she will not be disappointed.
She won't be. No, we're going to give the Open Chains a run for their money again this year. We got a nice little theme to go with our bar setup, and I think it should be a good time for everybody. So make sure you stop by, and then hopefully your listeners will stop by as well.
Oh, I am going to stop by. I can't wait, and I just want to tell everybody that's going to be there, check out the Americans for Prosperity Cocktail Party and Hospitality Suite. They do it the right way, and we always have a good time there. And they always have a great crowd also, so I'm excited about that. Tyler, you go to these conventions like you're going to do, and you're going to be rolling out these 5 initiatives. How do you get this message out? I mean, you got a lot of party leaders there. Let's start with the easiest one, tax reform in Virginia. How do you break this down and turn this into something tangible?
Yeah, that's a great question. So
Thank you.
I think the biggest thing is we have, like you said, we have 86,000 activists across the state, and that's our comparative advantage. So we're going to get those folks involved and make sure that we are knocking on their neighbors' doors, calling the neighbors, educating them on what tax reform means. I think that's a very broad topic, and so we need to make sure that it makes sense to people. And basically for us, that means more money in people's pockets. If you compare our tax code to like neighboring states like North Carolina and Tennessee, ours ranks 30th in the nation, while North Carolina and Tennessee they're 15th and 16th respectively. So, we pay more in taxes, I think, versus Tennessee. The average taxpayer in Virginia pays nearly $500 more in taxes a year. Mm-hmm. So that's real money that can go towards, a down payment to a new house, to your retirement account. That's, for younger folks like myself, that's 2 or 3 more additional school loan payments that you can make in a year. So, we need to make it so that it makes sense to people in real money and how that money can impact their daily lives. So that's how you get that message out. If you talk about just tax reform in the broad sense, talk about it, we're going to advocate for eliminating the B-poll and machine and tool tax. What does that really mean to people? Well, it's, more money in their pocket, also more money in businesses' pockets to reinvest in their company or put towards hiring new employees. So if you make it real, make it tangible, I think that helps people understand, what the benefits are and why they should be for, tax reform.
That's the whole thing, is being able to put it in terms that people understand. And then, obviously you got to transition that to specific legislation. But I think there's a lot of opportunity for tax reform in Virginia. Now, what about energy? I didn't hear that as one of your big 5, but is that it's still in the top tier?
No, I mean, it's definitely one of our top 5. We've been advocates for sound energy policy now for a couple of years. And unfortunately, Governor McAuliffe has decided to put, his special interest in green energy ahead of Virginia families. So, we're going to continue pushing forward, making sure that Obama's Clean Power Plan is not implemented in Virginia. As you and I have talked about several times, it's already killed thousands of jobs in Virginia, but will continue to just basically decimate the coal industry in Southwest Virginia. And I've been spending a lot of time in Southwest the last couple of weeks, and that's a region that's hurting. They've seen a lot of jobs just be killed over the last few years, specifically in the coal regions. And then, the president's energy policies will also raise our energy prices by 30%. And again, when you're talking about, real dollars for folks, that affects low-income families the most. People like you and I, we might be able to have the disposable income to, afford, an energy, our energy cost rising. But people in Southwest Virginia, they don't. So, they're getting hit twice by the president's energy policies, loss of jobs, and they can't afford the energy costs.
Right.
So we need to make sure that we're defending, the guys that really can't defend themselves in these situations and be advocates for our ratepayers. And the governor is just not doing that. He's not being a responsible advocate for Virginia families. And so that's where we're going to come in and make sure that people are aware of, what Governor McAuliffe is doing and what President Obama's energy policies will ultimately mean for them.
You've got to have the biggest political organization in Virginia, right? I don't think anybody can touch that.
Yeah, no, they can't. And we're the only group that really focuses year in and year out on policy and, not the election process or politicians. I always like to say that the work that we do today, November 8th, is going to be just as important the day after the election on November 9th because, policy doesn't stop. And so it's nobody can touch the operation that we have, and we're really proud of the accomplishments that we've been able to achieve over the years. We have 8 field offices across the state, 11 full-time staff, all dedicated to fighting for freedom and limited government policies at the federal, state, and local level. So it's a pretty impressive operation.
Now, you still got my guy down in Virginia Beach area?
Are you talking about Jacob Gunther?
Yeah.
No, he actually is not with us anymore. But we got 2 or 3 guys down there. Jacob Fish, a new guy that we just hired named Bryce, and then Rob Olson. So we got quite a powerhouse of a team down in the Tidewater region.
So you've got 8 offices now and 11 people. Isn't that double the staff that you had when you took over? Almost?
It is, yeah. I think I started with 6 full time, and now we've expanded to 11. So yeah, it's and we've added people in key regions. So we started with 1 in Northern Virginia. We now have 2.
Right.
We started with 2 in Tidewater, and we now have 3.
Right.
So we're being strategic about where we're adding staff, making sure that it matches up with our vision and where we need to spread our message the most.
And you've got people in Southwest Virginia as well now, right?
Yeah, we have one in Roanoke.
Right.
We have an office in Roanoke, and then that staffer though lives in Abingdon. So we have a presence in kind of both of those communities.
Right. And then what about Richmond area?
We have
Central
2 in
Virginia?
Richmond, 1 in Mechanicsville, and then 1 in Chesterfield. So we again got a good presence down there, and then I'm down there quite a bit as well, just talking with legislators and different organizations that are part of the movement, if you will. And then we have 1 field director in Charlottesville as well. So we literally hit all quarters of the state.
No, that's excellent. And Tyler, look, I've said this on the air before. Every time I go to the General Assembly, I see you in the elevator in the hallway, and you're not chit-chatting. You're meeting with people. You're handing out flyers. You're making your case. So you've built relationships with a lot of the legislators on both sides of the aisle. So I think that's how you make a difference. That's like the old-fashioned way, but it really works. And I think you've been able to set Americans for Prosperity in Virginia up really as an influencer, a major influencer on policy. And in our topsy-turvy environment with everybody fighting over partisan politics, that is so tough to do. That you've done a good job at that. And you're making a difference, and I'm excited about it.
No, I appreciate that. It really goes down to our team, and then really our activists. I mean, that's our comparative advantage, and we wouldn't be able to do what we do without our 86,000 activists. That's why I'm able to go to legislators' office and say, hey, we need you to vote with us because we have X amount of activists in your district that support this, and if you don't vote with us, then we're going to hold you accountable. And when you have that type of influence, it really perks their ears up and makes them pay attention to you. So it really goes to everything that we do and all of our successes falls with our activists.
So any of our listeners out there interested in limited government, influencing tax reform in Virginia, all the things Tyler talked about, here's all you have to do. Go to americansforprosperity.org, americansforprosperity.org. Sign up as a volunteer, help on the phone banking, whatever you can do. But the more numbers they have, the more influence they have on policy. Americansforprosperity.org. Sign up today. Take action. Tyler, thanks for being with us. We're excited about seeing you in Harrisonburg. The Fräulein is excited about being at your hospitality suite. And I know you're going to give the Open Chains a run for their money again. You beat them now 2 times straight. That's tough to do. This is the John Fredericks Radio Network. We will be right back.